Welcome to Sports Management Podcast, where you will hear interesting sports management professionals share their stories, experiences, and passion for the sports management industry. I am your host, Marcus Philipsson. Welcome to episode 80 of Sports Management Podcast. This week's topic is Digital Marketing and Entrepreneurship in Sport, and the guest is Konstantinos Synodinos. Konstantinos is the founder of Champions ID and Simply Digital. I first met Konstantinos when I was studying at the American College in Greece, and he was giving a presentation about his company Champions ID. Champions ID is an online platform with career solutions for athletes. He received several awards, but the road of an entrepreneur is bumpy and it was difficult to monetize during the financial crisis in Greece. But instead of going back to his old corporate job, he founded Simply Digital and is now serving clients with all things regarding digital marketing, and they have millions of social media followers from all around the world. Get ready to learn: how can sports organizations improve their digital marketing? Why is it so difficult to succeed as an entrepreneur? How martial arts has helped Konstantinos in his professional life? His best advice for young entrepreneurs, and much more. And as always, we are sponsored by InSport Education, the online business school for sport. For 2023, they have created some amazing new courses and modules. How about the marketing of women's sport, data in sport, governance and geopolitics, and many more. As always, you get 10% off all courses, programs, and modules with the code Sports Management Podcast 10. The first module starts already in February, so sign up now before it's too late. The link is in the show notes. Konstantinos Synodinos, welcome to Sports Management Podcast.
Thank you, Marcus. Nice to see you again.
Good to see you too again. First time we met was in Greece at the American College.
Yeah, true. Many years ago.
And then you had founded the company Champions ID, and now you're also the founder of Simply Digital. So can you tell a little bit about what it is that you do?
Yeah, sure. So Champions ID, as you know, started. It was my first online entrepreneurial attempt because I was for a decade I was in the corporate world. So I was working for Procter & Gamble and Diageo, and then I thought it was a good timing to attempt something in the digital marketing field, or the startup reality that was really booming at this point. So, and since I was an athlete myself, I had an idea about, creating a platform that would help young athletes to be in the spotlight of recruiters, or, have their talent shown to many people. So to have a platform to increase their visibility, because visibility in small sports is really limited. That was the idea. We spent a couple of years, building it up. We had like 50, 60,000 users on the platform. We won a couple of times the Greek Entrepreneurship Award. We were awarded in US by the US Department of State. And things were going really well. We had a great momentum. But then you had to monetize the whole thing at some point of time, like all startups. And the thing is that, when you get investment, you have specific milestones. You have a specific pace that you need to address, growth rates and all that stuff. We didn't hit those numbers because, people didn't use the platform as much as we wanted them to use. And that's something that happens many times in anything we do related to innovation. People, in order to adapt a new habit, it takes time. It takes a lot of time to get, something as a new habit in their daily routine. And that's not realistic to expect, as a new platform that people gonna do it easily. So we needed money at some point of time 4 years ago. And I was like, okay, two scenarios. Either I go back to corporate and I get a new job so I can really fund Champions ID, or with my knowledge and my experience in marketing, I start something as a freelancer, as a marketeer, something, I don't know, to start, working and helping businesses with the things that I knew already, either online or, the traditional stuff like branding, strategy, how to scale a business, stuff like that. So I created Simply Digital. So Simply Digital started as an effort of mine to self-fund Champions ID. And, next day I had a couple of clients. Overnight, we created a website with a friend. Next day, I announced it on LinkedIn and I got my first 2 clients. And since then, I did many different things. I started focusing in Greece initially. creating Greek content, then move to English content, experiment with different platforms like TikTok, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, you name it. And now Simply Digital is the biggest digital marketing channel in the world, actually. We have the biggest amount of followers combined, like 2.6 million people following us right now on TikTok, Instagram, and Pinterest. And that, creates new opportunities for us business-wise, for our agency. We're 25 people right now. The agency has grown a lot. I have an academy of, teaching other people about digital marketing, digital entrepreneurship, content creation, stuff like that through my courses. And we're developing new tools as Simply Digital. And we do different things, in the spectrum of digital marketing. So that's how the whole thing has evolved.
That's fantastic. And I follow you on Simply Digital on these social platforms. And it's, as you said, it's a big reach, and you have really succeeded in, making the most out of these social platforms.
Yeah, it seems like that. And, it came out of, without, expecting that, really. I started trying to find a way to feed my agency with new clients, with visibility. And that's how I started, understanding that content creation is the main vehicle in marketing, especially with the gift of all those social media platforms that we have available using for free. And especially when TikTok came in, I saw a great opportunity because it's a platform that really has redefined the way that attention is being grabbed online in a way that is very rewarding for people that, are consistent. So I gave it a try for a 3-month period. I saw incredible results, and within a year, I hit 2 million followers only on TikTok. And then, the other platforms as well grew. We got many big clients. We work with the biggest digital marketing players right now in the world. We do branded partnerships. I get invited in big digital forums. So it's incredible how content can get you so far in such a short period.
Yeah, for sure. So in what sectors are you working? Or to say it differently, the clients that you work for, are they for different sectors? For example, this is the sports management podcast. Do you have some clients from the sport industry?
I used to have initially because, people knew that I had just Champions ID. So I knew stuff about, how athletes react online, what are their habits, what they do, what are their needs, how they differentiate level by level. So, people reach out to me for that. But, the majority of people that I work right now are really anything from coffee companies to SaaS platforms to digital tools to, e-commerce stores, big e-commerce stores. Anybody who wants to use, the available tools available online to grow their business or build a new one.
If we focus on the sports industry, what would you say are the biggest challenges and opportunities with regards to digital?
Well, this is very generic as a question. I mean, in terms of what challenges in order to do what, to achieve what exactly?
Yeah. So do you feel like sports orgs and companies in the sports industry, are they using social media and the digital assets enough? Could they do more? Are they following the trends?
Depends. I mean, if we talk about what big sports companies, probably they're using quite well the social media reality and content creation and everything. They have thousands of people working in marketing, etc. So it's out of the question that those guys know what they do. Now, on the other side, where we're talking about startups like me, for example, that I had a sports startup, you cannot really do everything alone. It's not realistic, especially when you're talking about a bootstrapped company that it starts with their own means to address a global audience. It's not easy to be everywhere, to do YouTube, to do articles, to start podcasts, to do TikToks. It's not easy. And you need authentic content. I mean, with Simply Digital, it's easy for me to start talking. But when you're talking about a sports company, a sports startup, you need generated content from others, from athletes, from shoot stuff on the field. I don't know. So it's much harder to produce content in such consistency. But the great opportunity right now for me in everything we do is influencer marketing. And influencer marketing is really substituting, how people are trying to market everything we do or how to communicate their messages. And they're using platforms like me, for example, that I am a content creator, as an alternative of Facebook or Google that are the typical vehicles to promote themselves. So they spare a budget towards a number of people that are influencers in the field, and they pass their messages through them. And this is really effective, especially with the reach that TikTok and Instagram Reels are giving us right now.
Definitely. And I think also that you have influencers in your industry and you have influencers outside of your industry to, for example, to take, let's say I said I work in ice hockey. So if you want to promote something in ice hockey, maybe apparel, maybe you can reach out a bigger audience if you go outside of just the hockey fans. And so there, I think that is a huge potential for sports companies to use social to, increase their target group.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the platforms right now with the algorithms that they have, they can really recognize who the right audience is for you. So you don't really have to search it yourself. You just create the content that you want to create and communicate the message that you want to communicate, and the algorithm chooses who is relatable for you, right? So this is great. This is great. The algorithms are smarter than ever. And I don't see any reason why anybody shouldn't, create content right now. In every industry, any, field that they are into, content is the vehicle to do anything you want.
I agree. So you said before that it's difficult as if you're a startup, you're one person to create all of this content. So how did you start out, and do you have built a team now, or how do you work with your content creation?
Yeah, so initially it was all me, right? So I was a one-man show. I was the content creator. I was the strategist. I was the discover call specialist. I was the delivery guy of the service, the accountant, you name it. So that people that are traveling in this journey that it's called entrepreneurship, they know that at the beginning it's you wearing multiple hats. And it's supposed to be like that because you need to learn everything and you need to be exposed to everything and have a very good opinion, an involved opinion about anything that's happening. So you know who to hire, what to delegate, what is for you, what is not for you, what you're good at, what you're not good at, what takes time for you and, can really be done by somebody else. So you start building, a team initially with freelancers, probably with people that are not, full-time, because this is a big risk. Having, somebody full-time without having a consistent revenue stream yet for your business. So there's no specific answer on, when to do what, where to hire, who can help you. You need to try stuff. For me, for example, I hired my sister. It was my first hire. My sister was my first, recruitment. And till today, she's with me. She's working with me the last 4 years, doing many, many different things for me. Now she's managing my team. So, you build people along your journey. My content is being produced by me, the short form videos, because I want to do them my own way. And it's really difficult for, since I am involved in all my videos, I am shooting them, I am editing them, I am doing the voiceover. So it's really difficult for somebody else to do it. But my long videos are being edited by my team now.
Talking about the different social media and the different platforms, do companies need to be on all of them, or should they focus on a few, in your opinion?
Depends your objective, what you're trying to do. If you're struggling and you're starving for social media leads, for example. So when I started my agency 4 years ago, I went on YouTube. I went on my blog to start creating long-form content, because long-form content is searchable, right? People are going to Google and YouTube for answers. They have an issue, they have a struggle, and they want a solution. That's where you need to address that pain and offer a solution with your content, with your valuable tips. So if I'm starving for clients, the first thing that I want to do is create long-form content. So YouTube videos and articles. Or, if you want to do it quicker, you're going after paid ads. You target keywords, you do it smartly, you find somebody who's good in doing that, and you address specific keywords. That's the shortest way. The longer way is by long-form content, addressing intention And then social media is a different way to build your brand. It's the only way actually to build a brand right now. The first one is tactical. You're addressing an intention. And the other one is I'm building a brand. I'm using social media to build a brand, to use the free GRPs that I get from TikTok and Instagram to start messaging my ideal audience. So ideally, you need both. Depending on your priorities, your time limitations, or your budget limitations, you need to make a choice. And as I said before, if for you, you're struggling about, getting clients, go after long-form content and paid ads.
Mm. And also, should you vary between the written, video, pictures, audio? How is that distribution in your opinion?
Right now, video is the king. Video is the king. People are consuming content. The consumption of content, if we split it in forms, number one is video, number two is written, number three is audio. Okay. So video is the king. People want to consume video content. If I have an answer written and an answer in a video, I would prefer to watch a video. And that's what people do. The attention right now is on the platforms. Everybody's like that. Even they sit on their couch to watch Netflix and they're still on TikTok. So TikTok wins versus Netflix. So you need to be on TikTok. You need to be on Instagram Reels. You need to be on YouTube. You need to create video. So the first priority content-wise is video, for sure. But it's not for everybody. If you're not good in video, doesn't mean that, if you create videos, you will perform great. If you suck in video, right? You might be better with words. You might be better with words. You might be a great writer, a great copywriter, or you might be a great audio storyteller. So you can go after a podcast or whatever. So look at yourself. Look what are your strong points, what you can do better than others, and build on that. I knew that I was better in video rather than creating written content. I'm not a native speaker. I'm not a native English speaker. I couldn't write as somebody who's native. So I said, okay, I will use my acts or my communication skills, my presentation skills to do something with video. And it turned out to be a good idea. But as I say to everybody, you need to experiment, right? So what I'm saying right now are things that I have experimented and I learned what works and doesn't work for me. Doesn't mean that what works for me will work for everybody, or what failed for me will fail for somebody else. It's not one size fits all. You need to try, you need to experiment, you need to follow, your instinct sometimes in some stuff, but have a plan at least. Don't just do, whatever, whenever, periodically without having a consistency.
Yeah. One of the types of videos that you upload is like internet hacks that feel illegal to know.
Yeah.
What would be your 3 best internet hacks?
For me, the actual hack is consistency. This is the only way to hack anything. I mean, I haven't seen anybody in sports, on the digital entrepreneurship environment, in the gym, in anything that hasn't grown, hasn't progressed, if they were consistent. So if you're consistent and you show up and you love what you do, right? Because content creation many times is people treat it as a vehicle in order to get something. It's a conditional situation. I want to do it in order to get followers, in order to get clients. You need to reverse that and start, loving the process and the content creation process, or hitting the gym, or going on the field and, putting some hours of training. If you don't love the process, you will never get the results. So the real hack is to love the process, the first hack. The other one is to understand your audience. And to have a clear understanding of, who you want to address, who you want to attract, and who you are in this whole equation, right? Most people don't do that. They just, jump in a platform, start creating content, and they end up, becoming somebody else, or adapting a new character that they are not, or, so you need to have an understanding of who you want to be at the beginning of the process. And in order to do that, for me, the only hack that I use is, going to a platform like SEMrush, putting your keywords in there, getting the results and seeing, what kind of content is ranking first under those keywords, understand the volume, how many people are asking that, what are the questions under the main topic. What are the things that people are asking? And this process will tell you exactly what kind of content you need to create in order to get the audience that you want following you, reading your content, knocking on your door in order to become clients, right? So yeah, that's pretty much the hacks. I mean, technical hacks we can talk about hours, like using automation tools or using video stuff, or how to create more effective content on YouTube. And the other hack that I really love and is so important for me that I've made it a brand name is to keep it simple. So even if the whole digital environment is so complicated and so complex and so overwhelming so many times, the reality is that it's very simple. So you need to do simple things well for a long period.
I like that.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And this always wins. When my content, took off, my most viral content is the simplest one. It's ridiculously simple, like 20 seconds long. And I have videos that got like 15, 16 million views only by, changing 3 frames with my phone. So keep it simple because it works.
Yeah, that's good advice. Talking about the consistency, you have a background in sports and martial arts specifically. What would you say that you have learned from that you can implement in the business?
For me, the biggest lesson is, discipline. Discipline is a trait that it's not easy to attain. And especially nowadays, because people are really used to chase adrenaline and, stuff that are getting your reward fast, right? So instant gratification, as we call it. It's really difficult to build discipline within this environment, having this kind of culture of instant gratification. So for me, in anything you want to do business-wise, because business and entrepreneurship, it's a long ball game. It's not who wins in a couple of years. I mean, even for myself, I'm running Simply Digital for 4 years and I'm in a very good position right now. Doesn't mean anything to me, anything. I believe that I'm just starting right now. Business-wise, I'm a baby. So if you have this mindset and you have the discipline that sports gave me, because, sports make you become disciplined. Because, for example, when I was competing with the national team of Greece in karate, I was preparing for a whole year for a tournament, which was like first fight, 3 minutes. 3 minutes, a point finding game. If you were not good enough that day, you're out. That's it. So you had to wait another year of hard training, another year of, sacrifices and long hours in the gym, and expecting to have a chance for, the next year or in a couple of years to compete again. And that's really tough as a feeling, But if you get used to that and you focus on your craft and, becoming better every single day and, taking every single day as an opportunity to do something great, it builds a mentality and a mindset that is really, really blooming in entrepreneurship. And it's not by chance, it's not strange that we see many, many entrepreneurs, coming from sports and military. Because, discipline plays a huge role. Probably 80% of the success factor is discipline and persistence.
Yeah. And also like teamwork, overcoming adversity, like so many things you can learn from sports.
Yeah, all that. Yeah, it's great. I mean, I was in a sport that I was not having a team, right? I was alone. I was competing alone. But still I had played basketball. I've done many sports. So I know what you mean. And I had people that I was training with. So you know how to be a good team player. But still, the most important thing is to be disciplined. You cannot expect anything from anybody.
I would agree with that. What would be your best advice for people who wants to enter the sports industry, or maybe in your case, like in the marketing space?
There's a big limitation in sports, although, the majority so for example, the issue that we have with Champions ID. Champions ID was addressing 98% of the population of sports, which is people that are not the elite athletes of this world, right? So we were addressing the huge population, but guess what? This huge population was lacking something very important: money. So the 2% of the sports population, which is elite athletes, big agents, famous coaches, have all the money. So those are the people that are great a great audience if you're a business. If you're trying to get consistently money from the 98% of the population, which is athletes that don't have a team or playing in small categories, or they self-fund their tournaments like I did when I was an athlete, you're not going to get too much money. Like I can get now, that I can get from a business, from a single client, I can get 100K in a year or $500,000 from a single client. You can never get that money from an athlete, right? So if you're focusing on this audience, you need to know the limitations, like we did. But I realized that later, monetization-wise. So the first thing to understand is who you address, what are the limitations, what are the opportunities, and based on that, you adjust your business model as well.
So adaptation, more or less, to say it shortly.
Yeah. And know your audience, first of all, and then adapt.
In your career, has there been any bumps on the road? And if so, how did you overcome them?
Thousands. I mean, it's mostly bumpy. The road is mostly bumpy. If people expect something different, they need to do something else, not entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is a heavily bumpy road, even when things are going well, because we have so many examples of businesses that were nailing it, making millions. And, a couple of years later, they were not relevant. See what's happening now with the Bitcoin and the NFT world. I mean, it's crashing. It's crashing. Businesses are closing like that, one after the other. So the moment you believe you arrived, you've lost everything in entrepreneurship. You need to be alert. You need to be one step ahead. You need to have a consistency plan. You need to stay ahead of the curve, and have something that always funds your next step. So yeah, the bumps are really endless, especially at the beginning, when the amount of effort that you need in order to build the momentum is huge. And that's where most people fail, actually, because it's not easy to keep getting punches in your face and say, no, I will keep going. It's really difficult, especially when you don't have money, because the lack of money creates other problems in your personal life, with your spouse, with your family, with your friends, whatever. You cannot go vacations. You can, especially as a guy that I did it in my mid-30s, it was really difficult for me. I didn't feel comfortable, dating girls back then, because I was not, financially solid. I had to think about, my expenses and everything. And it's not a good place to be, or have, long-term goals about anything else rather than making this thing work. So those are bumps, things that you had in your mind that would work, didn't work at all, or were totally different from where you were expecting. So yeah, you need to be aware that this is the situation, and most people fail in entrepreneurship. It's like sports. We start training together with a dream of becoming the next Giannis Antetokounmpo, and the reality is that 99% of us will not become the next Giannis Antetokounmpo. So you need to have another reality that you can really embrace and take your lessons fast and continue.
Yeah. Would you say that the success rate is as low as in pro sports with entrepreneurship?
I would say that in startups, it is as low as that. Yes.
That's interesting.
In startups, the fatality rate, as we call it, the death valley, which is, the first year of running a startup, is huge. It's like, if not 99%, is like, 95, 97 for sure. And that's not something that I got out of my head. It's something that, investors know, because they know their numbers in order to understand, what are the chances to get their money back. They know the fatality rate. What are the chances for a startup to become a next unicorn? But in general, in entrepreneurship, I would say that, 9 out of 10 fail when they start a business, and fail after a couple of years, right?
Yeah, that's interesting, because I read a podcast statistics recently that said that 90% of podcasts don't make it past episode 3. And then of those who make it, 90% of those don't make it to past episode 20. So if you have made 21 episodes, you are in the top 1%. And I guess it's a similar thing for companies and entrepreneurs.
It's everywhere, Marcus. It's everywhere. This statistic is everywhere, because you know why? It's not because people are not good. It's because they lack what we said before, discipline. Especially at the beginning, when the results are not coming to reward you. when you start a YouTube channel, when you start a podcast, when you start a TikTok channel, people see the numbers of Konstantinos, of other guys, and they're like, oh my God, I will create 20 videos and I will get 100,000 followers or 10 or 5. Or at least I will be growing, day by day, 500 followers, or I will get my first client after a month. And when those numbers don't come, because the chances are that they will not come, they get disappointed. They have the motivation to continue. They stop creating content. So they stop here. So this is the process. They start here. They stop here, and this is the point where they are able to start growing and see an uplift in their numbers. And then the growth is really crazy. The way that you grow after a while, it's like it picks up and it's much faster comparing to the effort that you put. But you need to reach that point.
Everyone wants that like hockey stick growth, right? That you go and then it just takes off.
Yeah, exactly the same. Exactly the same.
You need to endure up until that moment.
You need to endure the hard part of the stick.
Yeah. Approaching the end here, is there something that I haven't asked you yet that you feel is important to mention?
No, I just want to say to people that are interested in entrepreneurship in general, either, no matter if it's in the sports industry or any other industry, that they need to enter that understanding that is a huge journey. It's like, it can be really the biggest purpose of your life, along with other personal things. And you need to address it like that. So it's not like, I'm starting from Athens today, that I'm here and I want to go to New York. And that's the goal. I want to go to New York. No, you need to be able to embrace the fact that before New York, you need to go to Turkey, to Istanbul, and you might like it there. And then you need to go to another place and try some new stuff. Maybe then you need to go back to Athens to pick something else back that you forgot, and then go to another place. You might go to New York, you might not go. You might go to New York and not like it. And you might end up in another place and understand that it was better than New York that you wanted to go. So you need to treat this like a journey that is really exciting, really unexpected, and love the whole process. Love every single mile of this journey, and try to become better through this process. By doing that, I think that you're gonna go in a place that you're gonna really love after a while. That's what I believe. That's what experience has taught me, and also what other people's stories have taught me as well. Because I'm talking with many entrepreneurs, and pretty much everybody's story is the same, more or less.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And you are strong on social media, as we said before. So if people want to follow you and Simply Digital, where can they find you?
If they search Simply Digital in every platform, they're gonna find me. It's not difficult. So okay. TikTok, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, Facebook. If they search for Simply Digital, they're gonna find somewhere this color. It's really unique, and they can see what we're doing, and also to get in touch with us, of course.
Perfect. The last question that I ask everyone is, if you can choose the next guest on this podcast, who do you think that I should talk to? That's
a good one. Well, for me, the ultimate idol sports-wise is Michael Jordan. I mean, it's the god of sports for me. So because I understand that it's pretty challenging to get Michael Jordan. Yeah. I think that a great guy for this podcast would be Kerr. Is the coach of Golden State Warriors. I think he's a guy that is really interesting to listen to him. He has a variety of great opinions about many things about life. He's really honest and authentic. So I really like how he communicates and how he talks to the camera. Yeah, that's a very good tips. Thank you. My pleasure. Konstantinos, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the Sports Management Podcast. Thank you also for having me, Marcus. Thank you for listening to the Sports Management Podcast. Please hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any upcoming episodes. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought about this episode. If you want to get in contact with me, send an email to sportsmpodcast@gmail.com or hit me up on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram @sportsmpodcast.